right, everybody, welcome to Guerrilla Radio, the Guerrilla Show. This is episode 3. We're sitting down here. I'm DJ Jeff. We're here with the Mac Daddy himself, Daddy Mac John, DJ John.
I like where you're going with that. You can keep going if you like.
Okay, Daddy Mac will make you jump. No?
Think.
Yeah.
Daddy Mac will make
Daddy
you
Mac
think.
make you think.
Yeah, that's what Daddy Mac makes you do.
Clothes facing back with a little bit of slack. Anything but it's wickedy whack.
That's right.
And then we're also here with our special guest this evening is Kay Humphreys, and she is the owner of Jonny Hempseed, which is a local hemp-based health food company. Is that right?
Yep, allergy-free.
Yeah, allergy-free.
Allergy-free since '83.
That's good to hear. We don't like allergies around here.
No.
Yeah, cats were enough. If being allergic to hemp...
We're anti-allergy around this.
Yeah. Being allergic to hemp would just not be cool at all.
You gotta put that shit on everything.
Yeah,
Exactly.
really. Yeah.
No one must be excluded.
No. All right, well, we got a few things to cover here today. One of the headlines we wanted to touch on first off, I think, was the Canada-China Free Trade Agreement and their purchasing of Nexen, the Calgary-based energy company.
Yeah, that's right.
That's pretty crazy. It's like $15 billion. It's a huge political problem, and it's essentially opening up the doors to Chinese investment in Alberta.
Well, it seems to be the first step in essentially, towards a free trade agreement with China, between Canada and China, which, I mean, the economic side of the issue is actually very much in favor of it, because it allows Canadian companies access to the Chinese market, which is 1.4 billion people.
Yeah, well, it's a huge cash grab. Like, I mean, it's markets unbeknownst. Like, people have been trying to get into the Chinese marketplace for hundreds of years.
It's
Yeah.
gonna create jobs.
Yeah, well, that is always
Yeah, they might not be here, but it'll create them.
That'll always do it.
But what is really going to kind of kicking off this whole issue is that, the energy giant Nexen, which is a Calgary-based energy company, is in the process of completing a deal with China National Offshore Oil Corporation, or CNOOC, which is, of course, Chinese national oil. So this kind of, I guess it creates kind of an interesting issue for Edmontonians.
Well, soon we got Edmonton supplying.
Albertans at the very least.
Yeah, Alberta is now supplying, China and America with the majority of their oil?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine you would see Asian exports increase quite, dramatically if all of a sudden China National Oil owns, resources in Alberta.
Well, I think they already own a significant portion of them, but, I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be more and more. I think the funny part is how it's like free trade, it's business, it's all this stuff, and then it's the Chinese National Oil Company. Like, it's not even on the free market. There's no competition or anything like that. It's just
No,
like,
it's not in line with any kind of economic practice in the Western Hemisphere.
It's
Yeah.
a monopoly all down the line.
yeah, it is definitely a monopoly. It's pretty ridiculous.
But what's been kind of what I've kind of found is the most interesting part now is that because back on September 8th, when Harper was in Vladivostok, he signed a foreign investment promotion and protection agreement between China and Canada, which would basically kick off this sale and kind of get the ball rolling on some of this free enterprise and mainly get the conversation started on free trade agreement. But what's been really interesting is that when I've apparently there's been analyses by large trade-focused law firms, according to the Green Party of Canada, that have suggested that this will operate the same way that Chapter 11 of NAFTA works, which, to very briefly summarize for you, essentially allows corporations from, at least in NAFTA's terms, Mexico or the United States to claim damages against Canada if any level of Canadian government causes them to experience less profit than had been anticipated.
Yeah, so it sounds outrageous. Oh my God, we're guaranteeing profits to the Chinese, but that's something that's already been existing for 20 years.
Yes.
That's right out of NAFTA.
Well, the crazy thing is that if this kind of agreement is interpreted the same way that Chapter 11 of NAFTA is, which is what these analysts are saying it will be, is that if a Chinese company invests in Canada, and this can already happen from American and Mexican companies, if they invest in Canada and they don't make the amount of profit that they've been kind of led to believe that they're going to make or forecasted that they're going to make, they can actually sue Canada for the lost money, for the lost profits that they were supposed to make.
Yeah, and to sue the Canadian government, too.
Yeah, and it's happened.
It's funny just because that's so anti-capitalistic, like, and then they claim free trade the whole time. Like, no, guaranteed profits, yeah, of course. As if that would ever be allowed in so many other
Well, when was
places.
that ever a guarantee of the free market?
Yeah, it's free market. Oh, yeah, guaranteed profits for everybody. But if you lose, then the government will pay you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess that's always in tune with the,
So anyway, there's a lot of encouragement from various political parties across the country to get people to look into this issue further and write letters to your editor locally wherever you are, because this impacts Canadians in various ways, some positive and some negative. So however you feel, let's get this issue out in the public, because it's being done very quietly right now.
Well, I guess it makes sense from China's point of view. Like, they're already pushing for this pipeline to go through to BC, and then they might as well have the source or the company supplying the energy, as well as the pipeline sending it out.
Well, not to mention, how does it affect our trade relationship with the United States?
Well, yeah. I mean, now suddenly they have a competing buyer as opposed to monopoly purchasing power.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty funny because America's going to find out that the monster they created has no allegiance to itself, because these big companies, they'll be like, hey, yeah, China's going to pay this much money, so now you're paying that much money. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why would ExxonMobil or whoever?
Oh yeah, there won't be any stars and stripes bargains going on.
Yeah, like not at all. Like, sorry, they're paying. Are you gonna pay? And then and the government has no leg to stand on, because they're like, oh yeah, we've been fighting for free market capitalism for the last century or 200 years. I don't know, their entire
trying to spread it across the world.
Yeah, well, that's what they call democracy these days.
Yeah.
Well, something else going on that is, I think it's relevant to everything we're doing, and Canada too. I was reading, or you were reading, I think, John, that Uruguay, Ecuador?
Uruguay. Big news from Uruguay.
Legalizing
today.
marijuana. Whoa, that's
legalizing marijuana and abortion.
Yeah, that's
busy day in Uruguay.
Busy day in Uruguay. That's a huge deal. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
The way I've always seen marijuana legalization is it can only be held back for so long, because the truth will always find its way. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a prohibition state, as it is. I mean, this happened with alcohol back in the early 20th century, in the teens and the 20s.
Yeah.
Right up till I think it was 1933 that prohibition was repealed for alcohol in the States, and it's kind of becoming the same issue now as far as marijuana goes.
Yeah, well, definitely. Well, it's like when you see, like when prohibition, like it was the rise of a huge criminal underworld going on in the United States, and you see that now with pot in Mexico. Like, I mean, marijuana like never kills anybody, but it kills Mexicans by the thousand. Like, you know what I mean? Hold on, just.
Do you want me to do some like technical difficulties? Elevator music. It's Guerrilla Radio.
Should be good now. Oh yeah, there we go. That sounds a lot better. It just tripped me out there. I couldn't hear it too much, and you're the big special guest, so we got to hear you.
I got to be heard.
Yeah, you got to be heard. You got a pretty voice.
Yeah, I want this in Dolby later.
Yeah, definitely. I guess if you're just joining us, we're live here at Guerrilla Radio on the Grill Show with Kay Humphreys, and she owns Jonny Hempseed, a local hemp-based health food company. If you want to get at us, you can Facebook us at Guerrilla Radio CA, or on Twitter at Guerrilla GR_Edmonton, or just search Guerrilla Radio. I think that shows up too. Anyway. That was for the live audience here.
Yeah. So, okay, why don't we talk about your store a little bit? So what kind of services and products do you provide, first of all?
Right now I'm working on custom orders. Anything you like as far as muffins, sandwich bread, cookies, cupcakes even. I do it, and I try to do it as allergy-free as possible. Everyone has different allergies. Everyone has more concerns over their health nowadays, and I want to bring that convenience to the market. Sit at home, go out to school, but always be prepared.
Yeah. Well, when you say like allergy-free, do you mean like flour and celiac?
Wheat, gluten-free. A lot of people have egg allergies, soy allergies, nut allergies, and there's not really a whole lot of diet to really go along with it, something that everyone can go to at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember you were selling your cookies at 420 down at the Ledge Grounds.
Yeah, they were a big hit.
Yeah, definitely. What a sweet market that is, because it's people that are there celebrating one aspect of hemp, and then you can feed them with the other part.
Exactly.
And that's really the most misunderstood part of the whole hemp thing, is that it's this plant that can feed you, clothe you, shelter you, all this stuff.
It's pure,
and it'll get you high.
Yeah, it's pure.
Well, I never understood, because it's really clear with marijuana, and then there's two types of plants. There's male and female plants, and the male plants don't get you high.
Yeah,
but are exceptionally useful plants.
Yeah, they do.
But no, those aren't allowed either.
Yeah. Well, Kay, you're from the United States, and we talked about long, but even the Constitution, or the Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, written on hemp. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, original one
Yeah,
was.
the
yeah.
original one. And it's like I was reading about how back in the day it was like by law you had to grow hemp because they needed it for the revolution. And for
Yeah,
everything
they
going
sure
on,
did.
and
It
for
was like
forming a
it was
continent.
law.
But then
and-
Big Pulp moves in.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Well, that was like centuries later, but you're right.
Yeah.
It was a big newspaper and big paper or pulp mill that tried to make it or did make it illegal back in the 30s.
Yeah, the seeds were even used as currency at one point. Even the 13 stars in the circle, the revolutionary
we
1700
have that
flag,
flag,
yeah,
yeah.
that one was also sown originally with hemp.
Oh man, yeah, no, so such a misunderstood thing. But it's like the way I see pot legalization or hemp or whatever you want to call it is that if you're not actively supporting its legalization, then you have no idea what you're talking about. like if you've looked into it at all, there is no way that you can be against it. It's only when you have no idea what you're talking about
Yeah.
that you can like totally be
My other half even was extremely ignorant when we first started dating.
yeah, no
And we
doubt.
recently watched a documentary after some break about the discussion.
Yeah.
And he just was all of a sudden, duh, of
Yeah.
course. Like, it's awesome. What are these people talking about? And I'm like,
Yeah.
you were one of
Well-
those people just
well,
like
propaganda,
a year ago.
it's called propaganda because it works.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
It's not like it doesn't work. And then it's like, you know, you've even got the whole cancer thing going on. I remember when my grandma was sick with cancer or whatever. I don't think she'd ever smoked pot in her entire life. And then she was like, had this little bong, and it was like so cute. And she's like, it like made the
Sounds
hugest,
like me.
yeah, it made like the hugest difference ever. And she like could eat again, and it was like totally awesome.
Yeah.
And like for my mom, who like, you know, grew up in the 60s and 70s or whatever, and probably had been disattached from it for like, you know, not she wasn't taking huge rips out of it or anything, but like hadn't been around it at all. And she's like, I couldn't believe the difference that it made. And she's like, you know, neutral on the subject.
Well, I read a stat earlier today that said I think it was since 1992 the potency of marijuana has increased by 175%.
Yeah, I've been hearing that all
And so when I speak to people who smoke it that used to smoke it back in the 60s and 70s, they're usually pretty blown away by how potent it is.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I've always heard that, but I don't know if it's true because, like, I bet you back in the 60s and 70s or whenever, there was always the shitty weed and there's always the good weed.
Well, of course, but maybe the scales have gone up a little bit.
Yeah.
What with science and
I
all.
mean, we'll never
It's
know.
science, Jeff.
We're taking God in our own hands here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, improving on what was already laid, I guess. Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I mean, like we were saying with this Ecuador thing, I think it's a really big deal because
Uruguay.
Uruguay,
man.
did I say
Come on.
Uruguay.
Sorry,
You're just
Ecuador.
loving Ecuador tonight.
Sorry, I do. I know.
Shout out to Ecuador if you're listening.
Yeah, for all our fans
All our
down there,
Ecuadorian
Ecuador.
fans.
How's it going? Hola, ¿cómo está?
Yeah, much love down
You know,
south.
you know, we love you guys. But you know, like I think it's going to take one country. Well, I always thought it'd be one state first because honestly, I didn't think any country would legalize it before a state, the United States did.
Hell no.
Well,
Do you
states
know
have
where we
tried.
are?
Yeah, I know. Well, but it's like actually on the ballot right now in I think Colorado and Washington. And
California, I wouldn't be surprised too.
California was last year.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just saw a video of Mitt Romney sidestepping that question.
Yeah,
from
yeah.
a reporter.
It's a hard question to answer, like really, because like, oh right, we're just not we're not thinking about that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes sense though. I mean, look at the industries that like hemp would hurt. It's like oil and
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals and.
It was
paper
funny.
and cotton.
He was so outraged that he refused to answer the question.
Yeah, he's like, no, we're not even don't even talk to me about this.
Why smoke
Aren't there
pot when
more
you just
important
take more
things?
medication upon more medication upon more
Yeah,
medication?
really. Well, like big pharmaceutical, biggest drug dealer in the world.
Mhm.
Like holy crap, they're dealing drugs to kids now. I was reading about this doctor in California, and he's like, he's prescribing ADHD pills to kids without even having ADHD. He's like, oh yeah,
Well, that's been happening.
They're like, no
forever.
problem.
no. Before they'd say it was because they had ADD, but now it's like, oh well, he just doesn't pay attention.
Yeah, actually, I did read about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
hey?
prescribing Ritalin to kids just so they do better in school.
That sounds like
Yeah.
ADD, sure.
Whoa.
No, he's not
Whoa.
even pretending that it's about ADD.
Yeah,
he's
before they
blatantly saying that I'm not giving these to kids for ADD. I'm giving it to them so they can focus and do better in school.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what a saint.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for their school.
What a service he's
Speed up
providing.
our children.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's like that's the way it goes, you know, laden with drugs all the way. But then don't do drugs. Don't smoke. I think that's part of the reason though.
Yeah.
But like if one of these states does pass it, like Washington or California or Oregon or anything like that, Colorado even, once they do it and they start like making all this money and like all these problems are solved, that's it. Like because everyone will be like, well, what about those guys? And then BC will be like legal. Like BC would like it stands to make the most money ever. Like currently,
If it's a provincial issue.
well, I think it's national in Canada. Like it's statewide in America, but I think it's national in Canada.
Pretty much.
I don't know. It's hard to say, I guess.
No, it would be.
I guess all drug law is national in Canada, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's completely national.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as last I checked, the stats I don't know in the underground market, it's the marijuana industry in BC is bigger than the lumber industry.
That doesn't surprise me. I
No,
just watched
no.
a whole documentary
Whoa.
about BC bud.
Oh yeah, was it the Union?
Like the
Well, and you can't
It's a great movie.
hydroponically
Yeah.
grow
Yeah.
trees.
Yeah, but yeah, totally. But can you imagine like the BC lumber industry is huge? Like it's huge. Like BC, that's what they do is lumber,
Exactly.
lumber and salmon, I guess.
Yeah, it's-
Well, soon enough, that'd be awesome for Western Canada too, because it'd be another booming province.
yeah.
And then like once that happens, game over. Like it's gonna be legal worldwide. And I think that the changes will be bigger than people expect it to be.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, beyond like everything it can do, and it's like it's a weed that grows anywhere. It's like it's agricultural. It's like for America as an example, like they're so built on foreign economies, they don't export anything except for like technology and movies and stuff like that. Like if they would have a monopoly on the hemp market and they could grow it all, they could produce it, they could sell it, they would be. And while cutting their debt, and oh my god, like
We're already in the process of like a movement of growing food on your lawns instead. Like when pot
Yeah,
becomes
absolutely.
legal, man, that's what people
yeah,
are going to be
people will
doing.
suddenly become farmers.
They're totally going to become farmers. Yeah.
Well, it's so funny to me how we lock up farmers. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's like, it seems so.
What is it
it's
they're
like,
doing so wrong?
Like, farming is basically what.
Well, this
got
kind
humanity to
of
here
makes me
where we
think.
are.
I should ask you, Kay, what kind of like legal restrictions and obstacles do you find with your business?
Ooh, yes. good question.
So far, not really any legal restrictions. I want to purchase from a farmer already, local. I want all of my ingredients to be local.
Mhm.
I mean, it would be nice, yeah, to maybe one day have my own farm on top of it. But
Yeah,
I just want to take one step at a time right
yeah,
now.
for sure.
Is it hard getting like the hemp stuff products, or is that
No,
totally
not at all.
business?
There are at least 3 farms in the Edmonton area that I know of.
Really?
At least 3, yeah.
No kidding. Is there a restriction? Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, you have to get licensing and such from the government. You do have to have a little bit of a battle, as was everything. But
Yeah.
But I guess you, the consumer, it doesn't really have to deal with that.
no,
That's pretty nice.
yeah, I'm lucky on that part.
Yeah, yeah. Do you like? What do you see? What kind of plans do you have in the future going forward here?
Well, I just really want to start off at farmers markets and festivals. Really make a name for the people that like going out and enjoying life, and just chilling. From there, yeah, it'd be really nice to have my own setup store. It's in the works. I'm getting ideas from people. Suggestions are always really nice too.
Uh-huh. Definitely. Well, that's like a company we'd love to support.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like basically at every protest or activist movement, you can always sit up there because the people,
Heck yeah.
the people at those protests are going to be. Like,
They don't have
totally
anything
down.
else to
They're gonna be
do.
down with that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of small businesses, there's this little outfit in town called the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, I've heard. I think I've heard of them. Are they down on Wayne Gretzky?
Yeah, they're on Wayne's Lanes,
They
which
play
someone
some
told me
sport,
recently
right?
was one of the proposed names for Wayne Gretzky Drive, Wayne's Lanes,
Wayne's Lanes.
which I think is just
No,
adorable. It's
I
darling.
think that's got to be a assumed nickname, not a.
It's
It's
darling.
like,
I love
turn
it.
off here 90 meters, Wayne's Lanes.
Yeah, exactly. That should be on every GPS system.
Hey, did they end up naming a street after Mark Messier, or are they just talking
Yeah,
about
there's
it?
Mark Messier Trail on the way out to St. Albert.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, because he was
was
from
from
St.
St.
Albert,
Albert,
played
yeah.
played for the Saints.
Yeah, so when you're driving on St. Albert Trail, you keep driving on it, and without doing anything, you're on Mark Messier Trail.
Oh, the Moose.
Yeah. It should have been Moose Trail.
Moose
That
Trail,
has a
yeah.
way better ring to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's this little small business called the Edmonton Oilers that unfortunately none of us get to enjoy the services and products that they
Yeah,
provide.
I think
right now.
I think I remember them.
It's really bumming me out, along with many people, especially in this town.
Yeah.
But we're in the middle of our own little arena debate here.
That's the worst
that
part.
has
Is it's
kinda-
not even just a hockey lockout. It's and your team's leaving too. How you like that?
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
like
I don't think
double
they'll
kicking the
ultimately
ball. It's like,
leave,
holy
but
crap.
apparently their deal to play at Rexall Place is only through the 2014-2015 season, so this is a pretty legitimate issue as far as that goes because Kate's doesn't have any legal obligation after that to actually keep them in that arena.
Yeah, well, we've been through this before, and it went through, ironically enough, to Texas. So that's where it was going to go, to Houston.
What do you know?
What do
I
you know?
actually,
Texas
at
really
work
thinking
the other
good.
day, I ran into two guys shopping for their daughter, and I was like, "You sound like you're from Texas.
No
What part?"
way.
Yeah, and they're from Houston. And I was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And they're like, "Oh, we work with oil." I'm like, "You're working on the pipeline, aren't you?" And they were.
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah. Well, I've worked in restaurants a long time, and when I was working downtown at Lassie, it was like there were people from Texas all the time. Like,
all the time.
Most of the Americans that came through were from Texas. I served Bechtel once, like executives of like this giant engineering company in the United States. Yeah, it was actually really funny because they're the ones that privatized the water in Bolivia. So I charged them $5 each for their glasses of water at the restaurant. I'm like, oh, that's not so funny now, guys, huh? Yeah, see you like that.
I'm sure they had no problem footing the bill.
No, they were outraged. They're like, we're not paying this.
Yeah, of course.
I was like, well, it's a joke, but now you get it. Right? And anyway, so most of the people come from Texas, and it's like, oh, I'm always like, oh yeah, you guys are from little Alberta, and they're like, what?
They have no idea.
Texas, the Alberta of the
Yeah.
US.
They only
You guys
know
are from
of
Alberta
Edmonton
South.
because of the
Yeah.
Oilers.
Oh yeah, well they know.
I guess that makes us Texas North.
Calgary is even more so because that's where all the
I hope that
dogs
makes
are.
us Austin in that.
No, it's that people
Totally
always like,
does.
People always like, oh yeah, you're
Are you
Texas
kidding?
North. I'm like, no, they're Alberta South. Let's get it straight here. Okay? It used to be that way. But
yeah, we
things
got
changed.
what happened this week was city council
Oh,
was
right. Oilers.
in session to debate the arena issue with the Cates group, who decided to not show up.
Oh, yeah, great.
Because of how many issues they felt they were already far apart on during the negotiations.
What a guy.
So after a lovely bitch session in city council about the Cates group, they unanimously passed a motion to cease and desist negotiations with the Cates group and halt any related work on the proposed facility,
Well,
which right now is budgeting at $475 million.
So is that money already spent?
No, I don't think so.
Like,
That's
because
what
I know
that's what they're arguing
lost
over.
some. They lost, like,
They don't
and-
want to spend that much.
They've
money.
Kate's lost
they've
lots,
invested, I
too.
think, like $17 million at some. Or
Oh
something
yeah, on
at this
design and
point.
stuff. I know
Yeah.
Kate's group bought all that land
Oh yeah.
by the background and stuff. But you know what? Like it would be nice to see this thing happen and whatever. Like at the end of the day, good. Like you're gonna play that kind of game. Like really, one of the worst PR campaigns I've ever seen by Kate's group. They're like, oh, we're going to meetings in Seattle, and then we're like not showing up to our city council meetings and stuff. So
Well, they wrote a full page apology in the newspaper after going to Seattle.
yeah, I know.
to the
Well,
fans.
that was the PR team, like,
Of course.
sweeping up the mess, But like, like what a terribly run campaign this has been, like right from the beginning. Well, I guess he was the savior of the originally.
And Taylor Hall heading to Oklahoma City, I think. I read that today, too.
Oh yeah, well that's awesome. Go Oklahoma City. Yeah, but I mean, like, as part as the municipal interest goes, I don't really like seeing, like, as much as it would be sweet to have a new arena. That'd be cool as hell. I think that putting all this public money into it without unless you're getting paid back with interest and making money off of it, like, it's just
I mean, if the
bad
city's got a
investment.
share of the thing, it's going to make money over the long haul. I mean,
Oh well, it's a huge
it's
arena.
not just
in a
it's
very
not
rich
just
city.
the
It's gonna
hockey
be,
team, right? It's a concert venue. You can do various events. We got the CFR every year, and there's going to be a lot of business inside of it. So if
Yeah.
the city gets a chunk of that, then maybe it is a good investment.
They're
Well-
expanding the LRT in that area too.
Yeah, well, and it's a huge drive for the economy. It's gonna be great for downtown. It's
Every other major city has a downtown arena, and it stimulates business down there, which they've been trying to do here for years and years, but they can't do. For that
Yeah,
downtown
I
stuff.
honestly think it could be great, but I had the problem with the city bureaucracy. Like they would so it would just be like this another concrete Rexall downtown. Like they're not one for the aesthetics. They're more the floor plan kind
Yeah,
of.
well,
thing.
ever since they
Mhm.
paved over Churchill Square, you can
Yeah, oh
tell.
god, don't get me started on that. Yeah, like
I haven't even checked it out.
oh well, I don't know how long.
It looks like a parking lot.
Yeah, it used to be.
Oh,
It used to be like
how
a
it
grassy
used to
park
look, yeah.
with
I
just
don't
trees
know.
and stuff where
Yeah.
you watch street performers, things like that.
Yeah.
And then one day it was like this ticks on the square thing, like concrete jungle, like it well great as if there wasn't enough of that downtown already.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was too bad. So I mean, like if the city builds it, like they're not going to spend the money on the aesthetic that I'm sure Daryl Cates would have because it would have his name on it.
Well, we've all seen the photos of the thing. It looks like some kind of alien
Yeah, it looks
contraption,
sweet,
but
like,
it looks pretty
cool.
futuristic and cool.
Like
and
in Edmonton, like is a wicked city, but having like that kind of facelift on it would be pretty sweet. It is definitely very much upsetting that it's not going to happen, but I mean, I definitely don't blame the city on that. If that's the game you play, that's what's going to happen. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh well. I just more hope that hockey comes back one day.
Yeah, I'm more worried about whether there will be hockey.
Yeah. That's such Oilers luck there.
As such a Canadian should.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Edmonton. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
It's just not right.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was I've traveled like in the States and Europe and stuff, and people like, if you like Oilers hat, people always come up to you and like, oh, Oilers. It's like, Oilers are a legend. It's a sweet thing. Calgary sucks. So.
They totally suck.
Calgary totally sucks. Well, I don't know.
I guess that's been another episode of the Guerrilla Show.
I guess that's been that. Well,
Thanks very much, Kay.
yeah.
Yeah,
If
that's
there's,
nice.
if there's anything you want to say, want to tell us more about,
Check out Jonny
Hempseed.
Hempseed for
Oh,
your
yes.
hemp product
on
needs.
Facebook.
Yeah, on Facebook. And yeah, you can check out my Twitter as well. They're linked together. And definitely check for updates.
Yeah, awesome. And it's Jonny with no H. I just
No
learned that earlier
H,
today.
yes.
No H, Jonny, if you're Googling.
Jonny.
Yeah, definitely.
Google correctly,
Yeah.
people.
Don't. There's a
Don't
lot.
let
There's a lot
spelling
of poser
steer you
Jonny
wrong.
Hempseed companies out there. That's
There
not
is.
what
Yeah,
you
there's a
want.
lot of knockoffs out there. You want the real deal.
There, definitely so. Great. Well, okay, it's been a
Thank you.
pleasure. Also, sometime artist for. Did I say that before?
No,
Yeah,
you
you said that.
didn't.
Yeah, sometime artist for the Guerrilla Radio.
Yeah.
So thanks for everything you've
Key
done for
contributor
us.
to
Key
Guerrilla
contributor, Yeah. We'd love to have you on the program again, and it's been great to sit down and talk to you. So everyone out there, please check out Jonny Hempseed. Support some local hemp food. I mean, who doesn't like hemp? Come on.
Everybody loves hemp.
Everybody loves that. Come on, guys. So we'll be back to you hopefully more regular. That was kind of a little delay there, but it was Thanksgiving holidays. Now we got Halloween coming up. But it'll be like I'd say
Halloween.
yeah, we should have a Halloween episode. Like spooky music and stuff.
Spooky radio.
Just like tell like stories. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll find you something like that. We'll be back.
Halloween
in,
special coming up next week.
It'll be a thriller. We'll tell you all the horrible things out there in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big show. Well, for the Guerrilla Show, I'm DJ Jeff.
I am Sebastian Von Rock.
And we're here with Kay Humphreys. Thanks for listening, everyone.